glad to see all of you here. If you would, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of prayer. Mr. Mann, if you would, please.
Be happy to. Let's bow our heads. Wonderful God, I thank you for an opportunity to gather this night. I thank you for the blessings that are to come. We're excited about this. First day is now over for our teachers as they have gone back to school today. And Lord, the future looks bright. Lord, I pray, dear Lord, your continued impact through all of our staff at PSD on the lives of these children that we're entrusted with. Lord, let their dreams be yours and let them come to fruition, and with the help of our wonderful staffs that we have. Oh, gracious God, be with us as we look toward the future this night. In your loving name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is now called to order under routine matters. Let it be known that members of the board are present with the exception of Dr. Renshaw and Mr. Morgan. I need approval of the agenda. Mr. Madden, second by Mr. Williams, all in favor. This meeting is in reference to millage information. That's why we're meeting tonight. Brings us down to Mr. Lumpkin. Do you have anything you need to say before we go to public comments?
Yes. I just want to give some information to everyone concerning what we've been doing up here. And, you know, contrary to what a lot of people say, we do watch what we spend. We cut positions. This past year, for this upcoming year here, we cut $1.7 million in personnel off of our payroll. Over the past 2 years, last year and this year, we've cut 111 positions from Polk School District. So, you know, when I see people saying that we do not cut, yes, we do cut. We look at every class. We max it out to the state, what the state requires us to have. Let us have. We max out those classes. We cut, I think, about 7 teaching positions for this upcoming year because we did see that we could max out some class sizes. Now we will probably get slammed for maxing out class sizes, but when you have to look at the finances, you have to do what you have to do. And like I said, we're not up here creating positions or doing anything like that. We're looking at every position and what's needed and what's not needed. And the bottom line is we've about cut everybody that we can cut at the positions we have, but you got to have people to run the system. And we've got people that's doing 2 or 3 jobs themselves on the district level, just so that we don't have to hire anybody else. Over the past several years, if you know as well as we do, insurance keeps going up, keeps going up, keeps going up. Last year, we paid out $22,620 per employee for a year. Last year, between last year and this year, there's been an increase. This year, we're going to have to pay out $23,220 per employee. And we've caught wind that maybe around March of next year, we're going to see another increase in insurance. So we have to pay for that. So right now, the increase in the insurance from FY26 to this year is a total of $603,275. That's the increase in the insurance that we're having to pay out. TRS, the Teachers Retirement System of Georgia, we have to be part of that, and our employees are part of it. It's gone up every year. It went up from last year to this year. Last year, we were paying 21.91% per employee. This year, it's 22.32%. And next year, I'm sure it's going to keep going up. The FY26 amount The increase from FY '26 to FY '27 is $363,516, and that's general fund that we have to pay out of, and that's required by the state that we have to pay that. We fought to get a senior tax exemption. We got that passed, and I'm glad we got that passed. But it cut us approximately $2.2 million, and that was with a cap this year. Next year, there's not a cap, so it could be cut our funds even more than that with a senior tax exemption. We were down 303 students last year. So what that does, that affects our funding for this upcoming year. Well, you're talking about 303 students. That total cut in the amount that we get there is $4,759,390. So we've been cut a lot here and there, and we've cut everywhere that we can cut. And I told them this morning, and I've got people sitting in this room right now that know that if they've got to spend money or want to spend money, they have to come to me and they have to justify it. And we do not spend money just to be spending it. And in fact, my team up here, they know that they've got to look where we can cut. And, you know, I hated the appraised value of property went up, but we don't have any control over that. You know, all of our properties went up too. And I think the misconception for a lot of people is that we do the appraised value of your house. We do not do that. But for up here at this office, we have cut everything that we can possibly cut, but we got to keep the system running. We got to get the best quality for our students. And it's been tough. It hasn't been an easy task, and we get hammered every which way we turn. But it's not like that we're sitting up here just building this, building that, or hiring people here, hiring people there. We look at every position, everything that we do. If there's any way possible to get a deal worked out so that we can get something done, we get it done. Rockmart High School, for example, they in dire need of an HVAC system. Well, HVAC system, a little bit over $6 million. We were able to work out some deals with some people, and we got that price cut, but we didn't have a choice. We had to put in an HVAC system at Rockmart High. We need an HVAC system in Cedartown Middle, Cedartown High. Rockmart Middle School needs a new roof. There's just things that has to be done that we just don't have any other way around it. And we do whatever we can to try to cut the price as much as possible. But I just wanted to go over that and let everybody know that, you know, we're just not up here spending money just at random. I mean, we are very careful with the money, and if anybody wants to come in and sit down with me, I will discuss anything that you would like to, that I can legally talk about. We can't talk about personnel, specific personnel, but I'm not scared to talk to anybody and show you what we've got up here, because we don't have anything to hide. So I appreciate you coming, and I'll turn it over to Ms. Mays at this time.
Okay, before we get to public comments, there's some stuff that I have to read. Before addressing the board, individuals are urged to seek a solution to their concerns through the appropriate school or district staff. An individual may not sign up for another person to speak. Speakers should be aware that their public commentary may be broadcast live, filmed, photographed, or recorded by the district or non-district media sources. While citizens may use their allotted time to share concerns, the board will not permit anyone to become personally abusive of individual board members or system employees. Personnel complaints regarding district employees should follow the complaints and grievance procedures established by the board. Items which are excluded from the Open Meetings Act will not be discussed during this session. This includes certain land, legal references, individual student discipline cases, and personnel items. In addition, the speaker may not discuss the students or staff by name or share other information that could lead to personnel identification of students. Any person who willfully violates these guidelines may forfeit the remainder of their speaking time, and the board may, in consultation with the board attorney, issue a written notice prohibiting the speaker from appearing before the board for up to 60 days. In addition to the above, the following rules shall be followed when appearing before the board. Speaker must state his or her name to the board prior to beginning public commentary. Each person whose name is placed on the agenda will be given up to 3 minutes to make their comments and must stop speaking promptly when their time is up. All comments and questions to the Board of Education should be addressed to the Board of Education as a whole and not to an individual board member. No person shall be allowed to make obscene, derogatory, or slanderous remarks while addressing the board or from the floor of the meeting room. Disruptive persons will be asked to leave, and the presiding board officer may terminate public comments that are inappropriate. No person shall be allowed to disrupt or interfere with procedures. Remarks shall end when the speaker's allotted time has expired. No person shall be permitted to enter into any discussion either directly or through any member of the board. The board will not respond to comments or questions posed by citizens in their presentations, but will take those comments and questions under advisement. However, board members and/or the superintendent may ask questions for clarification. When appropriate, the comments and questions shall be referred to the superintendent for consideration and a later response. If requested during his or her remarks, a speaker will receive a written response from the superintendent or his or her designee within 30 calendar days. Okay, our first person to speak is Ms. Linda Moody.
Thank you. I have a few questions, and I'm not good at math, as Rita probably knows, so I'm probably wrong, but y'all can straighten me out. Of those 111 positions, how many were actual classroom teachers?
We had 18 teacher positions.
And how many of those were certified teachers versus non-certified?
Out of everybody, out of all the 100.
Out of that 18?
Out of that 18, all of them would be certified.
Okay. Okay. Can you have a breakdown of what other kinds of positions were cut?
Well, we cut 9 specialist positions. That's a district-wide position. We've cut 2 assistant principal positions, cut 2 resource officers, cut a central office secretary. There were 6 district level, up here in this office, 6 positions that were cut. We cut our internal bus monitors. We cut them. And then we cut some custodians.
Thank you. Of the 303 students that left, do you have demographics on, was this because they moved, because they started homeschooling, private schools?
Well, when the threat of ICE coming to Cedartown hit, we had a lot that left, and I don't have necessarily just an exact breakdown. I'd have to get that, but that was a big part. But there was 303 district wide spread out, so I would have to just get the breakdown.
And the $4 million that cost, was that grants that you no longer get?
That's FD funding from the state. We get a little bit over $15,000 for every student, and that was lost because of that.
Okay, do you know the average cost per day per student for a student in Polk County?
Per day? I know that.
Oh, per year.
Per year, I think it's $15,707.
Okay, I think the information that you've given us all tonight is informative, and I think it would bode well if there was some way you could spread this to the general public that won't come to a meeting and doesn't know any better, perhaps over Facebook or other media, because
Your time
what you.
is up, Ms. Moore.
Okay, sorry, thank you.
Our next person is Mr. James Griffin.
Well, I don't have questions like she does. What I got is,
Could you state your name, please?
James Griffin.
Thank you.
What I've got is, you got people out here that can't hardly afford to feed themselves or their families, buy gas for their cars, or anything like this. And then every year, property taxes is going up, school taxes is going up. And, you know, what's people supposed to do? I mean, pay their taxes and don't eat? You got any answer to that?
I don't have an answer to that.
I don't know if y'all like they are in Washington or not, but they sit up there and vote for self raises and everything else. And it comes out of taxes too. Do y'all do that?
No, we do not.
What do y'all have to do to get a raise?
Well, they have to give me a raise, and they're not gonna give me one, but the teachers, the board would have to vote on giving the teachers a raise, and right now, we don't have the funds to do that. Now, if the state comes down and says, and the governor will come down every now and then, usually when they're running for a re-election or something, and say, we're going to give the teachers a certain amount raise, then we don't have a choice, but we can get that, most of it funded through the state, those raises, but we haven't had any.
Well, don't you get federal funding also?
We have federal funding, but there's only limitations to what you can do with that. That's not something that can be used just on everything. Federal funding is not. They have strict guidelines on what it can be spent on.
So you say you lost 303 students this year?
Mm-hmm.
How many are you gonna get back this coming year though?
Well, I've checked with some of the schools, and enrollment is going up a little bit. We will not know until probably about 10 days in, because you can't pinpoint an exact number, because like right now we don't know how many kids is coming to kindergarten. We know who registered, but come next week, we'll have more people to register. So we can't really just pinpoint a number on that, but we have had some that left us is coming back. I know that for a fact. They've already re-enrolled.
So is that some that left when ICE is coming, supposedly coming to Suitown?
It could be. I mean, that's just the reality.
Well, that's another one of my gripes, that, we the people have to pay for the school tax that don't even have kids in school and hadn't had kids in school for years and years. But we're paying for illegals to go to school.
Mr. Griffin, your time is up.
Is that right?
I'm not gonna answer that.
You just did.
Our next person is Miss Laura Robinson.
Laura Robinson. First of all, I want to say thank you for the tax exemption, those of us who are eligible, and I would recommend anybody who's of age to apply for next year. I understand how important it is. You've got a hard job. I applaud what you've done, although I think there's room for improvement, as I'm sure everybody does here. The biggest thing I personally want to see is what are we getting, what kind of bang are we getting for our buck? We're maxing out the number of students. Are they going to get the education they need? Are we still using tablets, or are we moving back to books? Are they learning what they need to learn? I was teaching college, and I've had students from Polk County occasionally in my classes, and I hate to say it, but they are not up to the same standard as some of our counties in our area. And I don't mind paying for school taxes personally, but what I do want to see is I want to see the students leave this place with a good education where they can go either to technical school, to a job, or to college, but they need to have that, and that's why I play for it. What worries me are some of the decisions that have been made in the past. For example, y'all mentioned Rockmart needs new HVAC, which we know about. And I was surprised the other day when I drove by and saw that we have the mobile classrooms. I did not know we had that. But I wonder why HVAC wasn't purchased when you chose to build a theater, for example. Theater number 2. Theater number 3 in the county, I think, because we've been using the theater down in Rockmart. So some of the decisions were made. I know the theater wasn't necessarily your decision, but you would think that you would look at what we're duplicating and look at utility need, what is going up, the insurance, the building costs, the cost of utilities, the need for real classroom experience, and I know theater is important, I love theater, but why are we duplicating this? Why do we have 2 theaters, 1 in each school? Why do we have, I don't know what other classes are out there, but I mean, I'm in FFA and I know we have that. We need to, I think, take a better look at how we can make our schools work together and not necessarily apart. I hate to say it, but sometimes I feel like if I leave my passport at home, I can't necessarily come to Cedartown because we have a duplicate of everything and there doesn't seem to be working together. So I would say I don't think there's going to be anything we can say that's going to keep us from getting the tax increase and the millage increase. I honestly don't. But I think that we need to look better into how we can make sure that the kids are the first priority and other things like football or other sports or new buildings versus HVAC be considered in the priority that I see that they need to be done. So that's what I have to say. Thank you very much.
Okay, that concludes our public comments. Down to item 6, Mr. Lumpkin, future meetings.
Yes, we have a meeting coming up next Tuesday. That's our work session at 4 p.m. next Tuesday.
Brings us down to adjournment. I need a motion. Mr. Madden, a second. Mr. Williams, all in favor? So moved. We are now adjourned.